Howdy Connection Group leaders, happy Thursday. I hope you're doing well. I am in here in Chick-fil-a, because why not, right? It's a pretty great place to say. But have you ever thought about what Chick-fil-A is not great at? I mean, there are some legitimate complaints you can make against them. I mean, like for instance, their nuggets, they're great, but they're really not that big. And I don't know, their corporate colors they're kind of lame. I'd much prefer Whataburgers. Actually, that part's not true. I'm never going to pick orange over pretty much anything. Whataburger's the only good orange. But I don't know. I wish they had, a bigger option for Polynesian sauce. And dadgummit, they're just a little too friendly, right? I just want them to leave me alone and let me enjoy my meal. If you're starting to think to yourself, TJ, you're being ridiculous, then you're correct. I am, because truthfully, there's very, very, very little you can complain about in relation to Chick-fil-A. In fact, there's honestly only two things I do that I think are mean. They run their commercials on Sundays when they know good and well you can't go get it, and so you just crave something you can't have right then. And then number two, I think it's very mean of them that you can't go buy their chicken minis anytime past 11 o'clock. So, but other than that, it's a pretty flawless company. They make great food, they have fantastic customer service, they support excellent causes, they hire teenagers far and wide and train teenagers really, really well to be great servants. It's just a magnificent place. Now the reason why I'm talking about Chick-fil-A is this. Anybody that comes into a Chick-fil-A and honestly has complaints, they're probably being foolish. Because if nothing else, this is the place that if I went and I said, you know what, these nuggets are not very good, they would immediately give me more nuggets, right? Like they bend over backwards to take care of people. It's remarkable. The children of Israel, imagine this. We don't have to imagine it, we just read about it. They've just been brought out of slavery in Egypt. God unleashed 10 plagues to set them free. He moved heaven and earth and all of creation in order to set them free. Awesome. Then he takes them through the desert in a safe passage, right? Pretty long journey. Takes them less than a month, though, to get to the Red Sea. Then it's time to cross the Red Sea, and the Egyptians show up to conquer them, and God deals with their enemies one final time and does this insane miracle in front of them. And then when they get to the other side of the Red Sea, they begin to journey a little bit farther, and they immediately start complaining. Oh, Lord, we're so hungry. Man, why did you bring us out here to die? Oh, Lord, we're so thirsty. Why did you bring us out here to die? And you just can't help but think, man, you guys are being ridiculous. And they kind of were. They kind of were. Now, was their need illegitimate? No. And that is important to bring up in this conversation, is there are absolutely times when we should go to God and say, hey, God, I need food, I need water. And I think God takes great glee when we come to him for all of our needs, certainly our basic needs, right? But truth be told, the Lord had already provided for them perfectly. In fact, he'd already provided for them supernaturally. They had no reason to think, hey, I brought you out here to die. In fact, he'd already promised them, I'm taking you to a land where you're going to be more than provided for. I'm taking you to a place that makes Chick-fil-A seem obsolete. And yet they complained and they whined and they groaned, and they did that for 40 years. And even after they went to the promised land, they still did it some more. Yeah, that's foolish. But then we look at ourselves and go, you know what? Are we really any that different? Because how many things just today have you complained about? I can look back at my day and think, oh, that was silly for me to get aggravated. That was silly for me to whine about it. Again, truth be told, we, especially in our culture where we live here in Arlington, Texas, or in Mansfield, or Grand Prairie, or Fort Worth, or wherever you're located, in the Metroplex and just in Texas in general, we are absurdly blessed. That doesn't mean there's not needs here, and that doesn't mean that we don't have bad days. We do. But we have it so good, truly. And even to think of it, like to sit down in a restaurant where they're bringing your food, to complain about anything is just awfully silly, but we do it all the time. So, I'd love to see us, amongst us talking about God's immaculate provision, for us to really see the foolishness of our whining and complaining, and to see the beauty and the grandeur and the absolute grace that God gives us on a regular basis, even especially when we whine, and how he is just so kind to us and how he provides. They had manna right? And that is fun. It's a word that literally means like, what is it? But it was good. It was bread from heaven, and then quail from heaven. So they had bread and meat and then water that God provided miraculously every single day. Right? They had that. God's given us Chick-fil-a and chicken minis, which I really think is the closest thing to manna and quail, and that's not free. I take that back. That's not even true. Sometimes Chick-fil-A just gives them to you. It's crazy. The food I got today, I used points on. Didn't cost me a dime. It's awesome. And they're totally cool with me filming here. That was super kind of them too. This place is incredible. We need to be so careful with declaring our needs both to each other and to God, but also not whining and complaining and honestly coming across as ungrateful. I think we can do that. Point your people, and I'm pointing myself to this. Philippians chapter 2, starting at verse 14. Do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may be blameless and pure, children of God, who are faultless in a crooked and perverse generation, amongst whom you shine like the stars in the world. Our peers need to see us being a people that are set apart, not just in our actions, but in our attitudes. And truthfully, again, especially living when we do, if they saw a difference in our attitude when it comes to little things, I'm not going to complain about the traffic. I'm not going to complain about the food was a little bit cold, or service was a little bit slow, or whatever it is that you complain about. I'm going to be grateful for the life that God's given me here. When our peers see that, you're like a twinkling star that makes a difference. So think about that. Encourage your groups with that. I'm going to eat some. Love you guys. Thanks for your time. See you later. Bye.